Leatherman engineers just met with some of you on Reddit. They do this every year, and they gave away 3 secrets. And by secrets, I mean a look into how Leatherman operates, and I think that's sort of cool, and why Leatherman does some of the things they do that make us scratch our heads sometimes. Now, the first one is can openers, and then the end one is really cool, so make sure to stick around because I was shocked at their answer. But the first one of you asked, why the insistence on can openers? Why is there always can openers on Leatherman tools? Now, I will be putting up some of the answers from the Leatherman team, but this is one of the things they ask. The question went on about a 1/4 inch bit drivers and Leatherman tools, but the Leatherman engineer replied, I think we have some usage numbers when it comes to can openers. It's more than you think. Now, I shouldn't have been surprised. I was a little bit surprised because to me, can openers, bottle cap lifters are archaic. They seem a thing of the past. Why are we still adding them on a multi-tool when there's limited space? You could come up with something so much better, it seems like. But I do realize that whenever I review a new product, especially if it's a camping tool, there's always a couple replies about, what about the can opener? What about the bottle cap lifter? That is something that I get asked over and over again. Now, some of you mentioned, and one of the Leatherman engineers mentioned this as well, that these can openers are useful for more than just opening cans. For instance, you can reach around things. Maybe you can use it as a hook, pick up things. Maybe you can use it as a box opener to cut with. All kinds of things you can use this tool for. And I get that. I understand that to some extent, but I feel like some of that, the pliers and the knife, do the same thing to some extent to me. But anyhow, it looks like can openers are here to stay, whether we like it or not. Can openers, bottle cap lifters, Leatherman is keeping them. Now, along with what we just talked about, can openers, they did also ask the Leatherman engineers about a 1/4 inch bit drivers, and then the engineers essentially said, no, that would take up too much tool space. So Leatherman, I'm assuming, has done a lot of studies, and people want more in their tool than less. Apparently, Leatherman is sold on their proprietary bit system. It is what it is. I know Leatherman probably wants to sell their bits, and I can see how that would have made sense a long time ago, but now more and more companies are coming out with those Leatherman style bits, and I'm not sure if it will be viable for Leatherman for that much longer, but for the moment, they are sticking with their 1/4 inch bits. Now, that was tied with the first thing about can openers. The second thing that really surprised me wasn't so much what Leatherman, the engineer, said, but a couple people chimed in and said, we desperately want more colors from Leatherman. And when I read that, I wanted to say, no. There's already too many colors. We want more multi-tools. We want more engineering. You can paint your tools at home yourself if you want to, or put stickers on them or something. But anyway, a couple people said, we want more colors. The only reason I bought a multi-tool is because of the black coated arc, the DLC coating, the obsidian, I think version is what they meant. And that's the only reason someone bought it. Now, the Leatherman engineer said, heard. I'm assuming from the color choices we keep getting, people have actually said they want more color choices. So I think it's a thing to stay. Leatherman will keep releasing a bunch of new colors. I'm assuming maybe for their Wave and the Super Tool, who knows? But that is something people are requesting. So while we may not want it, apparently there are a lot of people in the multi-tool world. And I think, again, there's this shift where they're trying to be more inclusive and include a lot of other people, groups that have not been using multi-tools. And I think that's why we have this shift toward more colors, perhaps. Now, from an engineering standpoint, one of the things that was very eye-opening about this discussion was when people started talking about the toughest plier head. So people talked about how is the Free Series the best, or what about the Leatherman Surge, the Leatherman Super Tool plier head? What is the toughest plier head out there? And I have been telling you guys that Leatherman has said, hey, this Free Series is their toughest plier head. Well, I thought that was true, and I think I have heard that in one of their videos, but apparently they are walking that back and they say, no, the Free plier head is not the toughest. Actually, the Bond and the Curl are the toughest because there are no cutouts in the plier head for the replaceable wire cutters, so that actually makes them the toughest of the whole lineup. Wow, that was a very interesting, I don't know if you'd say revelation, but that was a really interesting viewpoint, because when we think about multi-tools from other countries, other regions, the clone multi-tools, a lot of times we have this plier head that looks very much like the Leatherman Arc, and some of the older plier heads I'm not that huge a fan of because they just look like an old design, but those may actually be some of the toughest plier heads out there. So for instance, the Ozark Trail, I believe the Multi-Force did not have replaceable cutters. Swiss Tech, some of their design does not have replaceable cutters. That may be one of the toughest off-brand plier heads out there because, again, there's not as much weakness in the plier head. Keep that in mind when you're buying. It might be something you want to think about. Maybe an older design doesn't look as cool, but they may be tougher, either from Leatherman or from the clone market. When I think about Leatherman, a lot of times I'm wondering what the people there are thinking. What is their direction that they see for their company? And it was unique to see on the Reddit threads that the engineer said the Leatherman Arc is the best tool that has ever come out of Leatherman to date. Of course, leaving the door open for better tools in the future, but that was eye-opening. Again, the free technology, I think, is here to stay, and that's the direction the company wants to go to. And then the second thing I found really fascinating as well was that a lot of the engineers said that their favorite tool was some form of the Leatherman Free P2. Some of them had some special tools, inner tools that they had designed themselves, but that the Free P2 was their favorite go-to tool. Again, it's pretty great. It's a lightweight option, but it did surprise me a little bit that not everyone has jumped on board with the Leatherman Arc, but there still is a following, even at Leatherman, of the Free P2. Now, perhaps that's because some of them were more invested in the design and they enjoy carrying it. I'm not sure, but that was interesting. Let me know what your thoughts are about all these ideas that Leatherman has sort of opened the door. Let us see what they're thinking. It's an interesting time in the multi-tool market. Leatherman is still at the top, but we'll see how long that lasts.